just select. I'm sure Deeman must have explained, and I was outside. Just pick from the database, be that a DL380 server or a Cisco router or an hotel equipment. Just pick it, put it in the rack. The U is calculated, the power is calculated, whether it is a faceplate value or an actual value. The heat consumption is calculated. Whatever the CFM is calculated if it is a Superdome kind of equipment.
So various parameters
calculated. Sure. So all these parameters are inbuilt in this kind of tools. So that gives us the liberty of just putting this equipment. And the assurance which is given by DCIM tool that yes, we are ready. We will help you to integrate any equipment without giving you any trouble. So that is an important aspect. And of course, we can take a preventive measure. The kind of equipments which we have today in our data center, in our facility, check up with the tool. Just create a POC. Nothing to do with just create a POC and just try whether it is working. If it is working, well and good. So that way, whatever equipment I have today, it can be monitored. So that is a good factor for DCIM. Especially the things like DWG drawing integration or the CFD tool kind of simulation. So that is really fantastic because the CFD, especially the CFD simulation, which is something as a potential factor that you create a zone, especially the challenges for data center providers like us, because we don't know the kind of requirement are coming from customers. We cannot design a data center for a uniform density. It's very difficult for us. Some customer may be 1 kW per rack, or one customer may be 20 kW per rack. Even I have customers who is using running load of about 30 kilowatt per rack. So that is challenging for me to simulate this kind of things. Of course, we use independent CFDs. Again, somebody has to put in key in all this data, then simulate the CFDs, and then put exactly planning is very difficult. So DCIM help us to simulate, yes, if I put it like this is how it is. And put the racks or put the equipments, it works exactly like this. So that is how the interoperability,
Sure.
which I understand correctly. So that is a feature which we are talking about.
Brilliant. I'm sure, Srijit actually covered a lot of ground for you. But I was just wondering if you have something to add to this.
So what has Schneider done over the past few years is they have actually built up the entire library, as again mentioned by Srijit. So we have been working with OEMs and direct equipment manufacturers where we have picked up the key elements, key files, whatever are required. So they are already populated as part of the library list. That is one aspect of it. As far as simulation is concerned, as you pointed out, you can actually simulate what we were showing was a live environment. But before you want to really set up an environment, as one of you wanted to know, you can actually set up the entire design, bring in the DWG into it. It will show you a 3D pop-up view, create your CFD analysis. CFD analysis is extremely important because the older version of actually carrying out CFD analysis used to take 7 days. You have an area, say 4,000 square feet, so you have a volume of room. It's not the square feet of the room that is important. Cooling is within the volume of the room. So everybody had to, the engineer or the consultant where you used to actually invest into, had to break down this entire volume of room into the smallest possible component and run algorithms as he breaks down that room, and then you get the CFD result at the end of 7 days, like a pathological laboratory, that okay, now you can actually, this room will be filled with so much air, so now you put the entire servo load, whatever is possible. Now Schneider has taken that myth away. We have actually invested a lot in terms of firstly standardizing the protocol. So we have a web-based architecture. We have these libraries available. So we are talking about, in the true sense, the plug and play. We have actually seen it getting deployed. Now there are two scenarios. One is a greenfield opportunity, and there is a brownfield. When we talk about a greenfield data center which we are building from scratch, this particular tool can actually give you right from designing a data center, running and simulating it, even for that matter, trying to understand what are the costs that you're going to incur in terms of your growth. You see, you start with 50 kilowatt, go up to 500 kilowatt. You can simulate at that level. And in case of a brownfield data center where you actually want to expand within a already occupied space, so with all the multiple equipments, this can actually integrate like a plug and play device to all the existing equipments. This, again, not limited to the IT white space. That is the best part about this entire new integrated tool that we are trying to highlight over here. This can be taken up right up to the facility. Now, a facility manager with an IT background, really a challenge. But an IT manager with a facility understanding because of the help of a tool, which now I have two gentlemen in the room, Srijit and Irfan here, will actually make sense because the IT guy exactly knows I cannot answer back to my CXO, I will not be able to put or I will not be able to deploy servers, I can't integrate, I have cooling or power challenges. He will have to just go back, make that homework, get assisted maybe by a tool, maybe by experts, a battery of experts rather, whether I can go ahead with it or not. So Schneider Electric actually has systematically invested in technologies through R&D to actually help the plug-and-play integration. On a greenfield side, if you are actually investing 80 to 90% of the entire products solutions come from Schneider for a data center, from Schneider Electric, which are already communicable to each other, whether it's a panel, a transformer, and today, mind you, the CXO is not interested only in the white space power because he's actually monitoring the overall productivity of the building, the data center included, and all so on and so forth. Because not only the carbon emission norms, but also in terms of how he can contribute back from CSR initiatives, but also from how he can bring more by saving into the bottom line. And that's what one answer one of the CXO actually gave me. I want to see 10% put back into my bottom line. And it took us one day to actually realize what did he mean, because we're not the IT guys or the mathematicians or the financial accounting, but then we realized that is the fact. So that is how this tool can integrate with all your existing equipment, gives you a strength of utilizing the expensive reality, the space that you're talking about. And a greenfield opportunity, you just plug and play, as you can actually pay as you grow because all are intercommunicable on an open platform.
Interesting. I have about exactly 3 minutes on my clock before I actually want to kind of close it out. So let me just open it up to the forum. If there are any specific questions you would like to ask these gentlemen, please spare me on this one. There's a question over there.
Sir.
Is there any specific size of data center where this kind of tool should be used, or it can be used in any size data center?
I'll ask you a counter question, sir. What is the size not manageable beyond a human effort? Believe me, this was the first answer Schneider found out. 20 racks, can you manage manually today? No.
With all this what you have shown, I doubt whether you can.
So just to put you at ease, that beautiful slide with the cartoon picture there, you can get the full visibility of your facility at the rack level, at the asset level, I learned some few terminologies, BMC level, on the chip level, on the chip fan level, everything I learned today myself, because it's been a long time that I was handling this earlier. So when you are talking about efficiency today, efficiency is absolutely at the area of utilization. Okay. Earlier, it was more of asset management. Okay, I have a morning walkthrough, this light is green, this light is green, this is red, as Irfan was telling. We used to just take a walkthrough, we were happy. But the moment the pressure has come down, boss, you know what, I actually checked up the electricity bill of your data center. It's almost 50% of the value of my total building. It's a ground plus 3 building. Now, what do you do about it? So, it is not only about the tool which gives you the insight, it's actually helping you manage better. It actually helps you simulate what improvements that you can bring in. There was one billboard that was shining big, 30% savings on your energy. Schneider Electric actually put in this hoarding everywhere, and people said, okay, if I use you, it's 30% saving. It is not actually that way. 10 to 15% of your saving comes from the equipment and the type of equipment that you use. So it could be so that in an existing environment, you need to make slight tweaks. Okay, through maybe retrofit services, look into that, have an assessment done and bring out, okay, I do really need this tool because, and there are versions of this tool, okay, this tool can actually help you just for the data center white space management, pure rack side asset management, capacity planning, your, fault rectification, ticket raising and things like that. You can move it to the power monitoring expert kind of a scenario where you have, you can look into power quality management, distortion, phase levels, dummy servers which have been, the seed servers, are they actually in use or they are just sentimental value? They consume a lot of power because power was not the focus then, technology was the focus then, energy has become the focus now. So for me, even if it's a 5 rack solution, going up to, for a service provider up to 500 to 1500 racks, this makes very much sense.
One more small question. How is this genome database updated?
How is?
How is it updated?
Updated.
And there are new equipments coming, new models coming.
Yeah. So would you like to take that question, Deeman? Yeah, go.
Sure. So basically what we have done is for the genome database to get constantly
Deeman, you may
updated.
just want to step up over here.
Sure.
That will be
Everybody
far better.
can actually hear you.
We wouldn't want them to have spondylitis.
Yeah, definitely. Basically, for the genome database, we have 40,000 devices added.
as and when a new generation is announced, either from HP or IBM, so like HP ProLine DL380 Generation 5, Generation 6, we have a small file which is called a TAR file, which can be downloaded through your web services or online, and then you can just say that import. So the new edition of the new generation of servers gets completely updated into your existing database. So right now, after 40,000, you end up with 42,000. So 2,000 new ranges of servers. And as Amit Verma has clearly mentioned, that we are constantly in touch with the R&Ds of these specific OEMs. So I am basically from the R&D, Research and Development Division of Schneider Electric. So we constantly talk to them, and when they make any product live, before that we also do a testing which tells us exactly what will be the power consumption, estimated load, and then it is completely updated. In case if there is out of turn update of the catalog, we will get it imported as a .cat file.
Yep.
Is that answers?
That answers the question, sir?
In case of
Yes,
Yes.
basically. Yes. For R&D folks, for us, we literally have to test everything so that everything is working fine. We cannot give you a wrong information saying that so-and-so model of a server is 29 kgs, where in reality it is either 290 kgs. So 1 0 makes a huge difference. So basically, entire thing goes through the huge process of complete testing, simulation testing, and then live testing. And finally, we say that, okay, this is the product which can be added to the database. We just don't make it all of a sudden. And in case if there is out of turn new release, either in HP or IBM, then we make sure that we have incorporated those details into the database.
So practically they take away your headache
That's
of
what,
interacting with the
as I said,
OEMs.
one commitment I've taken from Schneider is that Schneider should not trouble me. Coordinating with OEM to get the data. I even taken writing that the moment I say or give that equipment name, the data should be available. As you rightly asked, the equipment name, all parameters. If it is a server, starting from the physical size, weight, okay, BTU, power utilization, what is the faceplate? If it is a added hard disk, what will be the utilization if you have one hard disk, 2 hard disk, 3 hard disk, be that matter, CPUs, etc. So that data, that commitment is given in writing. So you can also take it. So if it violates, you
Yeah, provided we get a
contract.
sign up now.
Tough one. So you had a question, please. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you.
for a brownfield data center, will this solution do some learning? Will it come to know what are the equipments already in the data
Yep.
center?
Interesting. I was actually about to ask Deeman the same question. Deeman, you might want to add to it. On the question is about the brownfield,
So in an
deployment.
environment where there's an existing DC in place already and you
Yes.
plug this in, what happens? What's the magic?
Fair enough. So for the India's second largest bank, it was a complete brownfield data center where it was already existing for last 8 years. So basically for parameters related to your power, you have nowadays something called energy meters, which are very much intelligent. So they communicate in very global or standard protocols like SNMP, Modbus over TCP/IP. So first and foremost, your power is taken care of because you have now put energy meters in place. So you can measure the input to the UPS, output to the UPS, input coming from the grid. Power part is taken care of. Second miracle of modern day technology is called SNMP card. So you have a legacy cooling equipment, which is either Stulls or Uniflare, which was not intelligent. So you have a SNMP card, which literally makes this dumb equipment into something intelligent. So now it tells you what is the fan efficiency, cooling efficiency, inlet temperature, exhaust temperature. So cooling taken care of. Then comes the space part, which our DCIM can easily incorporate through your CAD diagram. In case if you do not have an existing CAD diagram or .dwg file format, what we will do is that we will capture the real-time data center as it is in a real-time format and give you. So your cooling, power, network, as well as space is now taken care of. And you can easily implement this kind of solutions in any data center, either brownfield or greenfield, without an issue.
And on the IT space side, it's detecting through the libraries. So the IT space also gets taken
Yeah.
care of, because that's anyway the core of your question actually, if I may, because it was an add-on to that. The IT space within the racks actually gets captured as part of the asset list. It will tally up with the library and show it. So when you actually click the rack, as you was demonstrating earlier, the rack is shown populated with your existing asset list. And then you know exactly how much power is being consumed.
Interesting. Perhaps the last question, because I wouldn't want you to be waiting for that. Any questions? Oh, we have two hands. Okay,
questions.
we'll
So we have
include
time. Fair enough.
ladies first. Ma'am, there's a mic over there.
Typically, we use
It's working, it's
EMS,
working.
to manage the data center infrastructure as well. So while your solution will take care of the power, cooling, and space requirements, what about other components of the data center infrastructure, which could be access control, it could be rodent control,
Fire suppression system.
Water leak detection, public
smoke-
address system.
Yes, absolutely. So one would end up using two solutions to manage the infrastructure. Is that understanding correct?
Yes, very much. So basically, again, when I talk about BMS, I would say it is related to building management system, your elevator system, your entry to the entire organization, the main gate.
No, I'm talking of the infrastructure pertaining to the data center. I'm not talking of the general access control, but for the data center, rodent control for the data center, smoke detection for the data center. So from a data center operations perspective, I would have, if I have a structureware, then I would need to have something else as well, correct?
No, not at all. The structureware name itself incorporates all these parameters, be it the building management system, which we call as SBO, structureware for building operations, be it the real-time SLD, single line diagram coming from the grid up to the server level, which used to be the purview of the electrical manager or the DC manager taking care of the electrical part, that comes as a power monitoring expert. So entire gambit of all these applications is called structureware. So if you say that I want to incorporate my rodent control system, fire suppression system, either gas-based or liquid-based, or you can have the access control not only at the main gate level, surveillance cameras, all IP-based, surveillance entry, audit trail report, who went in, what time, what access that person has, for what amount of time, which server he accessed, which gate he opened, you get everything in the structureware for DCN. So, and entire thing is all based on only one simple thing. All these equipment talk in a language which can be intelligent, and we just incorporate these details to our solution.
Just to add to that point, madam, initially when we talked about, we use too many tools. It's a fact of the today. Everybody of us, we have 4 or 5 tools at least. So the end goal, the more tool, for managing the tool, you may have people, right? So the end goal, if you ask me as a data center operator, you should have one tool which carries, the entire data. Let me just take an example from Irfan. As you rightly mentioned, earlier, before DCIM, we used to have 110 IP addresses. Individually IP addresses, he used to log in and check what was happening. So after DCIM, maybe I'm not from Schneider, be it structure or any DCIM that matter. So it should provide us a one point where the data has to be available, analyzed, and effectively managed. That is the end goal. Then, what is the advantage? Your productivity increases, your efficiency increases, and your resource utilization will drastically increase. That is how it is.
No, absolutely. And maybe for service providers like you can manage multiple tools, but for end users like us, we need to have one tool. That's why my question.
I talked about multiple tools. Today, it's a fact.
It's today's scenario. What
Today's
he's trying
scenario
to
is multiple
emphasize.
tools, but the multiple tools is a problem. So we have to target for one tool, one single tool.
Just to add on to him, whether it is an enterprise customer, as I mentioned earlier, or a co-location provider trying to rent out space, or a managed service provider, what is the core competency? For a banking organization, it's their core banking that is their function. They cannot have an arm which is now trying to become facility, real estate management. Companies like Bharti who are into telecom has actually spun off that arm and said, you go there outside the gate and create your own company and create that. If you look at the, I really appreciate that they just put up the slide. Yes. That slide actually sums your question up, the answer that you're looking for. We're not limiting ourselves to the cooling monitoring or the power monitoring only, where we're talking about power management and things like that. We are taking it up to the IT infrastructure device monitoring. Now, this device monitoring actually gets back to the earlier integrated BMS system, which we call as structure building operations. It's one and the same thing, but more advanced. Again, on a single backbone, single dashboard, 3 players, IT, facility, and the top management. You have something called as the energy and sustainability. That software actually takes you can pull out the report and go to your shareholder meeting. Trust me, you can do that by after customization.
So it will tell you basically if you are having a DG, how much of diesel would you need on a monthly basis?
Yep.
What is the best time to buy diesel? What is the best time to have a buffer stock of diesel? What has been your purchase order for diesel for last 12 months? I'm just giving an example of diesel. And it can go up to the level of, if you want any more details with regards to the purchase, supply chain management, cost, cost effectiveness, optimization, it can go up to that level. So
It's actually what, I just coined it, whatever blinks, this software inks. So basically, if you have anything that is live and blinking, whether it's a comfort air conditioning, DG set, chiller, plant operations, anything that is other than the human being blinking, this software can ink it into the system and provide the update.
On to what you're saying is, this is how you can have your own dashboards. You can have multiple sites, and you can benchmark.
This is the CXO's dashboard, the sustainability dashboard, where you can actually take it and pull it out. In fact, our global president, Jean-Pascal, does not believe in talking. So if you've seen Steve Jobs, the Apple guy just says, all this is a mess and we got this, and everybody's looking where? He's here. So he just pulls off this slide and his job is done. So he says, what we preach, we practice. So globally, what you were seeing was St. Louis online, which is the heart of Schneider Electric operations worldwide on IT.
So this is actually a dashboard. You can have a couple of more, which you can customize. So another dashboard which you can derive out of the software. Energy cost allocation and budgeting. Depending on the customer side, we change it. So profile analysis. So you can have a UPS energy usage, monthly, hourly, analysis of DG performance versus fuel consumption. Pretty important from the facility side. I think Shingesh would be like, should be delighted to see this dashboard. I don't know if you're doing it. So this is another one. Then for Colo, this is something we have. So we can now give you integrated tenant billing, space capacity report, measured cage power, and CAD integration. So essentially what it brings to you is all this. So now you can have tenant impact analysis, you can have tenant inventory report, you can have measured cage power, space capacity, power report, modeling, and whatever is there on the screen. So we have actually taken a good amount of pain into talking to various customers globally. So depending if it's a colo, it's a data center provider, we've done multiple levels of analysis. So we made different versions of the software specifically to address niche pain areas.
Thanks, Vineet. You had a last question, if you can actually quickly ask him, because we are out of time. That should be working.
So appreciate that for the question to be allocated. So just had an extension, the question to the ma'am, in fact on the same lines. So I was just wondering, because I had a question to Irfan and Sridhar, probably more from this side. So you're saying that HP OpenView came into mention quite a few times. So is it that the HP OpenView gets eliminated by this kind of an application that comes in, by this kind of a tool set? And are there any other alternatives to, like when you were evaluating for having this kind of a application or a tool set, like were there any other alternatives you came across in the industry?
okay, so
Yeah, right. See, I mentioned HPOV as an example, which I experienced way back in 2003.
Absolutely.
So I just mentioned I took that experience, which immediately came across my mind, where I was a project manager, integrating especially IT equipments. And HPO is predominantly managing and monitoring IT equipments.
I understand. I'm not saying
So,
that HP OpenView, but
where I could integrate all Cisco equipments, all storage equipments, everything very easily. But the trouble was to integrate Knotel, where I was in middle between HPOV and Knotel. So HPOV says you go and coordinate with Knotel to get the relevant parameters, OIDs or whatever it is, and give me. So it's a pain for me, where Knotel, it's an IP. See, OID is an IP for any OEMs. So definitely they will not give us that easily. At the same time, we have invested in HPOV. It is important for us to monitor and manage these equipments. So that is some kind of deadlock situations where a customer in, how do we go about it? We have invested in HPOV, we have invested in Knotel. So how do we integrate? Okay, of course I can manage Knotel by every time logging into Knotel equipment. It is not impractical so many times. So ultimately, after so much of struggle, after 8 months, I would recollect precisely 8 months, we could integrate that particular equipment into HPOV. That is one example I just mentioned. Today's scenario is very simple. That is exactly I said, when I have interacted with Senator, the first question I asked, I have so much of equipments, variety of equipments, non-IT plus IT, starting from UPS. Again, UPS is not a single vendor. There are multi-vendors, starting from Emerson, Schneider, Socomec, Raylo, PCI, MG. This only UPS I'm talking about.
Right.
PACs, again, multiple vendors. Okay, IT equipments, Cisco's, Junipers, Nortels, servers, DL380s, IBMs, HPs, Dells. So how do you integrate? So if you are investing this equipments, and if you are investing one, huge capex, or I would not say huge or less, investing on a monitoring mechanism, tomorrow I should not be put in a trouble, interfacing between tool provider and this OEM providers. So that is a challenge. That is where I keep the tool provider accountable, that they will hold the responsibility of integrating this equipment into this monitoring tools. That is what he was mentioning. When I was talking to Dhiman about 2 years back, it was about 10,000 equipments. Today is what? How many?
40,000.
40,000. So I would really appreciate, from 10,000, it has become 40,000. So 30,000 equipments added, and I'm sure it will grow. And if you give, any OEM comes with new equipment, so it has to be added in the tool. A new patch or a new release should have a capability to integrate the tool to easily accommodate. If you get that OID or an SNMP or an SNMP Modbus parameter, the equipment should be available in the monitoring system without any trouble. So that should be our end goal, without putting any effort from the customer. So that should be our end goal.
So that was a reference story he used. Don't hold it against him.
No, I'm not so if I have to sum it up, is it possible that if I get DCIM, I have an existing HP OpenView or any management tool that I'm using for infrastructure monitoring, will it actually replace that existing setup?
I think you can just keep it in-person discussion. What we will
Sure,
do
sure,
is
sure.
we will show you live, or you can take that aspect into consideration, and whether you really need to remove OpenView, or if in case, let's say one of your customers already have one, then what do we do? We cannot just say plain blank to a customer, oh, you've got OpenView, you need to scrap it. Doesn't work out. He's already done good amount of investments into buying doing a capex in that, so we cannot scrap it. So we can
Sure,
cover
sure.
you in the cocktail or dinner session. Perhaps I would just run the video and you can see it live how we can do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Vineet has
Thanks.
already promised to spoil your cocktails with us. So he can. Thank you so much for being here. If I can just ask both of you to actually stay over. Karthik, if you can just come up and express the gratitude to these guys. Thank you so much. Simon, can we have it?
Wonderful.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Big round of applause, please.
Wonderful. There is no word. Sorry, we made you wait for some more time. Amit, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
And if I can ask, ladies and gentlemen, just hold on for 2 minutes if you've waited for me for so long. Thank you, Srijit. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you so much. Just a little bit. Amit, I need you up on stage. I'm sorry for doing this to you. And Saima, can you help me with this? Thank you so much. So if you would have been seeing, the way I had been spamming you for this event, there had been those mailers which had been coming across, and we had promised some giveaways, the incentives for you to actually take out time for us and spend your evening with us over here. The incentives are, we start from a very lovely